What's up, Jet Nation? Are you having the emotional swing all over the place yet? Did you have your first freak out with the head coaching search? Let's talk about that for a few minutes when I come back. All right, Jet Nation, this is GreenBean. I am coming to you from just outside of Jacksonville, Florida. And as you can see, it's cold. It's actually cold in Florida. Now, I'm used to South Florida where it rarely gets this cold. It's probably in the 40s today, high 40s, which is, I'm not used to it. So here I am bundled up outside trying to talk to you guys about head coaches. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Go to jetnation.com, get in the conversation. We have 20 threads talking about Robert Saleh. If you can't get enough Robert Saleh action, that's the place to go. Complaining about it, loving it, disappointed, and so forth. And that brings us to our subject today, Robert Saleh. Just the other day, we had a guy who may or may not be Jets Rule 128 sitting outside the Jets facility all day, waiting for a car to pull up so we could take the worst picture I've ever seen of anything. I have drunken pictures of the ground that showed more detail than what that picture was. But he tagged it with something which said, Robert Saleh's at the Jets facility. I didn't see Robert Saleh in that picture. Did you see Robert Saleh in that picture? But it went viral. It was everywhere. I probably got that on 3 or 4 of my own feeds, and it was sent to me by people who don't even follow the Jets. Hey, look, the guy from the 49ers is at the Jets. I don't know. Did you see him? I didn't see him. But somebody was there. I think there was a Cadillac Escalade there. It could have been the cleaning man, the guy, the detailer, for all I know. But that said, Robert Saleh was at the facility yesterday. Now, if you don't know who Robert Saleh is, he is the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, second overall defense in 2019, the 5th overall defense in 2020. And why that's so good is because he had more injuries than any other team, any other defense in the NFL, and was still able to keep those guys playing at a very high level. Lost some of his biggest stars. Don't forget, they lost Nick Bosa and another starting defense, I forget who it was, playing the Jets. What happened the next play? Do you remember that? Bosa went down, the other guy went down, and what did we think? Dude, we're going to win. We got this. They just lost their 2 best pass rushers. The next play, sack. So that was indicative of the rest of their season as well, because he kept these guys playing at a very high level, 5th in the NFL, all while being decimated by injuries. Now, if you look at the flip side of this type of thing, Adam Gase, when dealing with the injuries, we've been using that as the excuse for why he's the 32nd offense in the league. See the difference? See the difference? One side says, hey, what do you expect me to do? Everybody's injured. One side says, injured? Well, we got to figure out a solution. And he did. So that's one of the things that most people like about him. He's loved by his players. He's a player's coach, but also very disciplined. He's a very hard guy, but he's a teacher. So, and when they look for CEO types of coaches, there are many who say that's exactly the type of coach that he would be if he was a head coach. He would hire his offensive coordinator, he would hire his defensive coordinator and the other position coaches, and he would manage the entire thing from on high, which is exactly what we need, man. We have had too much of this stuff with the coach we hire basically only taking care of one side of the team, their specialty. It goes back a long time with us. But most recently, we had Rex Ryan, who never touched the offense, except when he would make Mark Sanchez wear a color-coded wristband. Then we had Todd Bowles, who did the same thing. And then most recently, we had Adam Gase. Greg Williams was the head coach of the defense. It's the first time we heard that term, but that's how bad it's gotten for us. We had 2 head coaches, both who weren't exactly top shelf. So now what's going on around the Jets world right now is that most people didn't even know who Robert Saleh was. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you, he was far outside the edge of my radar as well. In the outer rim, if anybody gets that reference, let me know. He was out there in the outer rim. But I knew about him, but I didn't research him or anything like that. And through this process, I learned about him. But a lot of people didn't even know who he was. Then they heard he was getting flown in for a second interview. They said, "Oh my God, what's going on? I want Joe Brady. I want Eric Bieniemy." And then that forced them to start to, realize that this guy looks like he's actually going to be the guy. So they started figuring out ways to justify it and say, okay, well, if this is going to happen, I got to be happy about it because I want to be happy about this hire. I can't be unhappy like last time. I can't do it. I didn't like Bowles. I hated Gase. Please pick someone I like, please. So we started this whole process with saying, no, Saleh's this, Saleh's that. And the guys he would bring with him, he'd probably bring LaFleur, the passing game coordinator from the Niners, or Kafka, the quarterback coach from the Kansas City Chiefs. So everybody got all excited. Okay, well, he's going to build a top shelf staff. Yeah. You know what? Saleh's my guy. I love his fire. They started sending around all these memes and these little clips of him yelling, yeah, on the sideline. Rah! He's all fit and great. And he's not a little weirdo or big and fat like our other coaches are on him. So we started to think that this was going to happen. We made it the best possible solution. And then it just fizzled. Somebody texted me today, my F5 button is breaking on my computer. And what that means is they're refreshing all day. So it started to fizzle. We were waiting for hours. We waited and we waited. People stayed up late last night to try to figure out if Robert Saleh was going to be the head coach. We woke up this morning, nothing. And then what happened? They're in the room with Chris Johnson. Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and Chris Johnson are in the room. The door is shut. These are the reports. It looks like it's a done deal. There's mutual interest. Both sides want to get it done. So forth and so on. These are the reports. Now remember, these guys don't know shit. All they're doing is making assumptions and they're putting it out as news and so we could consume it and freak out. Chris Johnson entered the scenario and it died. It died. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do now? You know, Robert Saleh was on his way to Philly last time I checked. He's driving down to Philadelphia. Why do you think he's doing that? For a cheesesteak? He's going to interview for their head coaching job. Now, this doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, guys. And I didn't really intend to make this video all about Robert Saleh, but it's more about a wide scope, a wide spectrum. Joe Douglas told us in the very beginning, it's going to be a long, extensive, detailed search. He also said he's going to cast a wide net. When you cast a wide net, you get all kinds of fish. When you throw one line in, you get one fish. He didn't say we're going to cast a deep line into the water. He said we're going to cast a wide net. So that means he's going to bring all kinds of people in. Now he did. He brought in 9 candidates. All but one coordinators of some sort. Well, Aaron Glenn is a position coach. But we have coordinators, 1 position coach, and 1 head coach. So maybe not as wide of a net as we would have thought initially. So that's what leads me to the main point. We need to calm down. We need to calm down. He's not going to panic. He's not. And if that means, like if somebody puts before Joe Douglas's desk, you got to sign me now or we're done, he's done, most likely. He wants to meet with other guys. He wants to bring in people for their second interview. Don't forget, all of the interviews were over Zoom. Virtual. Maybe they're using Skype, I don't know. But they were virtual. So they're having these virtual meetings. If they like you in the virtual meeting, they want to bring you in. They want to talk to you. They want to meet you. Why do they want to do that? There's all kinds of things you get in a face-to-face that you don't get in a virtual meeting. The guy could be wearing panties in a virtual meeting. Nobody knows. I don't think he was, but I don't know. And that's the point. You bring him in, maybe you don't like his shoes. Maybe you don't like his energy. You know, who knows? But there are reasons to do that. So do you think that he's only intending on bringing one guy in? Now that look, they might end up calling him later and going, he might just have needed to meet with Philly because he committed to it, and he's a good dude, and he's just going to commit and give and hear them out. Maybe that's all it is. I got to go down there today. Who knows? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe tonight they call and somebody, but it doesn't really. If he hired Robert Saleh, it would actually go against what we were told would happen. So don't forget, we got guys like Brian Daboll out there who really should get a second interview. He should. Okay? Maybe even Marvin Lewis should get a second interview. They might even want to bring in Doug Peterson and see what he's got to say. Don't forget, he's not the first guy to have problems with Philly's personnel department. And that was the breakdown. Okay? So, once again, I'm not advocating for any one particular coach. The guy I wanted most isn't even, the two guys I wanted, my top two aren't even being interviewed, it looks like. And that being Matt Campbell and Greg Roman. Neither one of them have gotten calls. So I wouldn't even be surprised to see a second round of first meetings. Greg Roman, Wink Martindale, Patrick Fitzgerald, those guys. Right? So the whole thing is this. We got to calm down. We have to. If you guys want to see a detailed description of each one of these candidates, I just put out my most recent podcast, episode 4 of GreenBean Jets Pod. You can find it on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. Green Beans Jets Pod. I go deep into every single candidate. Sorry it's getting dark. It's just weird. It's kind of happening on me. But until then, educate yourself. Learn who you really like. Don't like Joe Brady because people said Joe Brady's the guy you should like. Don't do that. If we have time, educate yourselves, Jet Nation. If Robert Saleh's the guy, he's the guy. Okay? But if he's not signed today, it doesn't mean anything. Even if he is not signed at all, it doesn't mean anything. I will tell you, I share the fear that we're going to blow it and sign Adam Gase 2.0. I do. I have it. It's in there. But we got to have faith. Got to have faith that Joe Douglas knows what he's doing. The scary part is Chris Johnson walked in the room and it died today. Is it money? Is it? Because that would suck. If you're only going to pay bottom prices, you're going to get bottom products. It's just that simple. Very rarely do you bargain bin and find a Van Gogh painting in the garage of a garage sale, a garage of a yard sale. Just rare. We all hope for that, but it's just not real. So don't forget, guys, we're all in this together. We are Jet Nation. Nobody cares about us but us. Stick together. Don't fight with each other. It's not worth it. And don't fight over Robert Saleh or Brian Daboll or Joe Brady or Eric Bieniemy or Marvin Lewis or Aaron Glenn. It doesn't matter. We're going to do it. We're going to get it right. And we're going to do it the professional and the right way. He was there for 2 days, if you like Robert Saleh. They got what they needed out of him. Okay? If he left, it's because they didn't want him. 90% chance. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing is important, everybody. I didn't know that for a long time. Subscribing is important. If you like the content, give us a sub. You can find me on Instagram, GreenBean the Jets Fan. You can find me on Twitter, Bean the Jets Fan. And you can find me on my new YouTube channel, which is where my podcast lives. Right on YouTube, type in GreenBean Jets Fan. 2 words, GreenBean Jets Fan. And with that, go Joe Douglas.